All right, and we're back. Now, did we need to give someone taint after that one?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was like, I'm sure there was something we missed at the end of it, but yeah, it's taint. So do we decide that as a group? What do you
We
think?
do decide that as a group, but I think the way it works is sort of if anyone wants to put their hand up and say, I think my character took the most taint, then that person is welcome to. Otherwise, we'll sort of decide it as a group.
How are we defining taint in this context?
So it's the person who has been the most touched by the labyrinth. That's sort of open-ended. It could mean that the labyrinth changes their behavior, but it could mean that they physically were touched by taint.
I love
what it could mean is very different depending on the situation.
That we have this metaphor for trauma, right?
Yeah, essentially that's what it is.
Like the trauma of horrific. Of traveling through this, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of scrabbling. Is that your paper?
Yeah, I think it's Tiara's bag.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I was like, what is that noise?
I'll stop eating pistachios.
I think it's on the same. Okay. Is it on the same desk as your mic?
Maybe that might be it. I was gonna say, I could certainly volunteer for that. I definitely
I
took
can see that.
Physical.
Yeah,
you had that.
Either that or I also wondered I sort of wonder what comes out of Manali kind of just accepting the black sand and just sort of kind of floating in it calmly. I wonder if that would be an interesting thing, but yeah, I'm more than happy to.
I feel like your physical damage and your lesson learned were the most dramatic.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the idea that maybe it has a physical element too, because as you're going through the sand and sort of Ash mentioned Azar's bionic arm sort of separating from the flesh, maybe sand actually got sucked up into your bloodstream as well.
Oh yeah, we did mention a blood poisoning thing. I like that. That's cool. Yeah, neat.
The thing I love about that is that means that Azar will never escape the quicksand.
No, that's so
metaphorically, right? If it's gotten into there.
Metaphorically, yes.
Right?
Yeah, metaphorically.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can get out of there. Otherwise, I can't.
No. That's
do it.
Metaphorically.
It's your journey is over.
Done.
I was like, yeah, you need 4 for that. Yeah. So before we go into the next round, the other thing I wanted to say was, in this game, when you're telling the story of what somebody else did, feel free to be courageous. So even if you want to get someone's input in what their character would do, then make sure you tell the story of what you saw, what your character saw in the other character do in their own words, just so that it's not
first person.
What do you think your character did? Oh, this. Okay,
right,
just more in terms, because the game is actually about stories, rather than what actually happened, like I mentioned. So yeah, it's just to keep that. Yeah, keep those stories being told. That's all.
Cool. So how does the other players' consent play into this?
This is the thing. This character isn't you, right? Prudence isn't me. And so if someone else says something about Prudence that I'm not happy with, unless it's a red card situation, I'm cool, that happened. That's what people say about Prudence. I don't have a way to.
And you can totally scope people out and be like, hey, do you think
people
this
can ask me what they think, what I think Prudence might do, but they're the one that makes the call if they're the one answering the question.
And it kind of mimics the actual actor telling a story about somebody else.
Yeah, right. The other person could be lying. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I could have told that story and been and Azar totally started crying because
because that's what your character is going to tell
right?
people.
I
like that.
Yeah,
I like that it's specifically that character's
recollection of
that
it,
character's
which is why it's
version.
important to tell it from your character's point of view about someone else if you're doing that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah,
good.
cool. I like that.
So I should have been saying I saw as like Azar grabbed me and I saw him, so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Spot on.
Cool. Tiara, would you like to draw a card?
Oh, it's my turn now. Okay.
It is. Oh no, is it Tiara or no? Did Haley draw the first card?
I did the first one.
Okay, sorry Tiara.
Yeah.
Then I should do one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so that we're
Yeah,
rotating
go
through
back.
through the thing clockwise. All right. I will look at my two cards, and it's funny because chat can't see the bottom half, so it's all mysterious. Oh no, it's definitely that one. You know that feel when it's like, oh yeah, no, that one's way spookier. And flip. This is the place where we found. This is the place we found the others that fled, who never found the labyrinth's end. Yeah. So I think.
Don't make it about babies.
It's not gonna be about babies.
Good.
Why would? No, it's fine. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. This is. There's a facsimile of a town, a village, or a small city, where all of these buildings are just clay, like rectangular shapes emerging from the ground with like square windows and doors cut into them and nothing inside. They are grey and mottled, and as we walk through the things that seem like streets, we hear the sound of the wind howling against the windows and doors, ringing against the hardened terracotta. And as we like peer into the doors and things and the windows, I think we see people miming a life. Going about as if there were tables and chairs, going about as if there were things to do in this place where there are none. I think they look well beyond worn. Their skin is tight against their bones. Their eyes are deeply set. Their teeth are barely covered by their parched lips, and and whatever clothes they had on them now hang off them in rags, and they don't seem to notice us as we walk among them.
Ooh.
That's so wow, that's so creepy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Tiara, you get to ask the first question.
Okay. Who among the foursome had the secret seer information?
Koro had the seeing magics that reveal what is hidden.
Okay. So how did Koro discover a secret about our parents or our culture? By using special secret magics of the seers, which I, as Minali, could only got hints of it before, but it was information that I didn't know about. But then I see Koro tapping into what looks like some kind of spell. Minali doesn't quite know what's happening. She's just seeing this play out, and then it seems like Koro is suddenly able to see them for what they are, and is able to when Prudence talked about they don't seem to notice us being there. It seems everyone else seems to notice Koro being there, but no one else. and so is able to communicate to Koro and only Koro.
Oh, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. So the figures notice Koro, but they don't notice the others.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
And Minali's just like, what the fuck even is happening right now?
After, I think it's Emily's turn to ask a question next.
Sure.
You've got to answer one about yourself this time.
Okay. I've got to answer one about myself.
You can't
All right.
you can't do one about the same.
Because it
It goes back and forth.
alternates.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got it. Sweet. All right. I think and this is really interesting because like we've established that they only see Koro.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting because it makes some of these like some of these really strange.
Yeah.
Or like at least we've established that from no, I love it. No, I love it. No, it's really good.
I'm putting the questions on here so that we can cross them out.
Oh yeah, can we only ask each question?
Each question can
one
go
time.
once. So can you?
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to make sure that we've
Yeah, I got to remember
crossed out the ones
which
that.
ones I have used.
Yeah, all of the ones that aren't in the black have been used now, so it's just.
So you have to ask a black question.
Okay. Oh, so as in, we can only ask each question between us.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So cool. All right. I think. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna play on. I think I'm gonna go with how did Azar break an important taboo of our culture to survive? Or do I want how did Azar take a risk on something we did not understand? No, that's too much like before. No, I think I broke an important taboo. But it's interesting because I like it's to survive. So I'm wondering like exactly how the threat looks here. I think it's to do with the arm. Like I think as we've moved through the labyrinth after the sand, the Azar has been finding that the wound from swimming through the sand has been kind of just getting worse, feeling sort of like hot and irritated. And I think there is I think there must be a taboo in regards to healing and how healing is supposed to be done, because we sort of made that mention before about how we obviously have quite an advanced culture, and yet there's something about Prudence's illness that can't be cured in the grasslands. So I feel like there's maybe some really distinct like cultural stuff around how healing is meant to be done. I think part of it is I think part of it is that you're never supposed to work healing on yourself. You're supposed to let someone else do it, because there is a fear, I think, among the culture of the grasslands that that someone who is unwell is not in their right mind, like cannot be trusted with their own well-being. And I think Azar has already kind of like strayed into this territory because they put this arm on themselves. And so I think there is this taboo where you don't try to heal yourself because it won't work. You'll make things worse. But they have this this conviction that they are the only one who knows how this arm works and that no one else can touch it. And so like somewhere in this strange town, they kind of like sort of skirt away from the others, through the alleys or something, to kind of like try to deal with this wound like quietly away from the others. I think that's what I remember.
That's great. Okay. I think I'm going to answer the question of how did Koro take a risk on something we did not understand? So we've established that Koro has used his seeing magic.
I have a question, sorry.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to have 2 in a row or more in a row where you're talking about yourself?
No, you're not. But if you were the first person who answered the question, like if you're the person who played the card, that doesn't count.
Okay. Right.
Does that make sense? So yeah. I'm answering questions about
like
myself now.
Each person is only that, right? Okay.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's confusing. No, it's personal. So
it's personal. Right, okay. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
For an individual.
That is cool.
Alternating rather than yeah. No, that's actually a good point. I should probably have clarified that.
That's fine.
Yeah, cool. So I will answer the question of what was the answer? I think it was how did Koro take a risk on something we did not understand. And we've already established that Koro was using his seeing magic. And so as I stood there, chanting the spells that my parents had taught me, and my third eye opened up on my forehead, and I saw these creatures for what they were, and they looked back, and they saw me, and what I saw was a sad tale in that these people were human once. I could recognize in them the same feeling, the magics and the ways and the flesh that I saw when I used my seeing magic among our people. So I knew that that's what these were once. But something from the labyrinth had taken them and coated it in themselves and sort of created this place to sustain itself. So essentially kind of like a parasite had come to live on these people, and they the reason why they sort of blindly enacted the same things that they used to do and lived a half life is because the parasite just lets the host just constantly over and over again enact what they think they should be doing. That's how the brain simulation stays alive. However, I think I don't know all of that. I think what I see is something that's familiar and warm and comforting to me taken over by something that's really alien and hostile. And as these bodies sort of start moving towards me, I guess I don't know what part of them is in control. But I step forward anyway, and a figure walks towards me that looks like they were a man, lumbering slowly with their sort of sunken eyes and shrunken body. And I just just stand there, and then when they come close, I put my hands on them, and without really knowing what I'm doing, I sort of allow my magic to like flow through them and strip away what's on the surface. And underneath, like a gray shell sort of cracks on the outside of their body, like it physically peels off. And underneath, I see the perfectly preserved dead body of like somebody our parents knew underneath. And I look at this person and I think,
is it someone's parent?
This could be my father, because my father got lost in the labyrinth and never came out. But I don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, right.
So I realized that I don't know whether or not this is my father.
Oh God!
This is a dead body in my arms.
I love that. Like, is this the first time it's occurred to Koro that he doesn't know what he's looking for?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That's amazing. Oh man. Oof. That's good.
So yeah, that's a thing.
Cool. I vote Koro for like most touched by the
yeah,
by the experience.
I think so.
Oh God, yeah.
Yep, I agree.
I think that's definitely the case. Oh my gosh. Cool. So what we do now is we stop following the journey of the children for a moment. And we're going to start following the journey of the parents. So okay. I will read you the introduction to this section, Act 2, The Escape. So 30 years ago, you left your home, your people, and the life you'd always known to escape the tyrant. You barely knew where you were going. You heard tale of another land, a green and grassy land of plenty, where the sun shone equal upon all who dwelt there. The truth was, you weren't even sure it existed. It didn't matter. You had to leave. But there's a reason nobody leaves the tyrant's kingdom. They don't leave because the only way out is the great long dark. So what we do now is we create the parent characters the same way we did the children characters by answering the question on the sheet. And then our journey will start from the other end. So the first player, which will be Tiara, I think will place the first card on the parent's journey.
On the other side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then it will be using the top half, the statements on the top half of the card rather than the bottom half to start the parent's journey. The first step that they took from the land of the tyrants into the great long dark. Before we get there, we have to create the parent characters. Yep. So let's do that.
Create separate characters for parents, like separate character sheets.
Sorry?
Do you want me to give everyone a separate character sheet for the parent? Or do you want to put it on the character sheet?
Whatever's easiest for people. Like, I'm just doing it on paper anyway, so...
Yeah, I reckon a separate one is good.
I'll give everyone a separate character. Haley, I'm giving you one anyway, just because I want to have the list of names, right? Like, I've got everyone listed as, like, child, such and such child. Just so
cool.
So there's a list of the names of the characters on the screen. So I'm giving you that one. I'm giving one to Tiara.
The names.
They're great, aren't they? It tries so hard to... Like, you can tell the robot is trying so hard to make people names, and it just doesn't know how.
Five fuego. Oh, no.
There you go, Emily.
Oh man, I'm keeping this name. It's awesome.
This one's name is Jov. Jov.
There's a fantasy race or something from a TV series or a movie or something where they always refer to themselves as this one. It's Elder Scrolls. It's Khajiit. Khajiit refer to themselves as this one.
Also, just while we're doing this, shout out to Animagus in the chat for repeatedly delivering us with fantastic memes.
How do I see this? Do I just go?
It's in the Twitch chat. So if you want to be able to view the chat, but you don't want to have the chat going, you can there's a little gear icon. You can pop out the chat and then close the window, so you can still read the chat.
Genius! Technology.
Yeah. All right. I love the fact that the parent just has a name, right? They just have a name.
Yeah.
Well, there's a character sheet for the parents too, and there's a whole bunch of questions about it.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time not just calling myself Furiosa, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to do it. We're going to the green place.
That is true. We are going to the green place.
I think my parent character's name is Sol, S-O-L.
I think my parent character's name is Holden.
I'm taking inspiration for what Roll20 gave me and made my character name Faiz.
Cool.
Nice.
Yep.
Instead of Fibe, because that's strange. But Faiz is an actual name.
Why did you leave your home? Why does the tyrant scare you?
The info booklet thing said that this shouldn't really be the parent of the child character.
Yeah, that's correct. Oh, I should have mentioned that. It's really important. Yeah, this is not the parent of your child character. This is just somebody of your parents' generation. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, that is
very good point. Yeah. Sorry, I should definitely have mentioned that.
Cool. No worries. Okay. Ooh. Okay.
What's the next question? Who placed their trust, hope, and faith in you? What do you feel might happen here? Someone is typing very furiously.
Sorry, it's me. Yeah, my keyboard's really loud. I've got this gorgeous mechanical keyboard that my sister got me, but when I'm playing role-playing games, it just goes taka 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 taka. Why did you not leave your home? I've got the ghost of my husband, slain by the forces of the tyrant, would not leave our house, so I did.
Oh, that's so cool.
Ooh. Wow. That's great. Oh my god.
Mine is a very long-winded way to say because I'm gay and can't deal with it.
Yes.
Well, okay, yeah, right.
Amazing.
Mine is my character is fearing persecution for being gay also, right? Both
we're all
in the same place, right?
Full gay.
And then they meet and fall in love, and that's what happens.
Well, Holden is definitely a bear, right?
Oh my god.
Oh,
amazing.
What's everybody's names? The names of their parent characters?
Sol, S-O-L.
S-O-L.
Faiz, F-A-I-Z, who's a guy and might have a crush on Holden. Now I'm making that canon.
Oh my god, I'm so into it. I ship it.
I kept my Roll20 name, so my name is Yudroshi, and it's a she. And Yudroshi left her home because there were too many people and too little food, and she just didn't want to be one more mouth to feed. She wanted to relieve that burden.
I think at risk of getting a little bit kind of strange and meta because of future story stuff, I think I had a prophetic dream, and I think my dream kind of gave me a choice, which was it was kind of like this sort of diverging of paths, and I knew in my dream that if I stayed in my home where I was happy and had a family, I would gradually become colorless and dull. And if I chose to make this journey, I would have the opportunity to sacrifice something for someone more noble than me. I was given this very like distinct moral choice.
Oh. So it says a lot about who Sol is, that the choice that they chose to make.
I think Sol uses female pronouns.
Cool.
I've put, why does the tyrant scare you? And I've said, his warriors are silent and moved quickly at night to slay those who the tyrant deems unpeople. Like he just decides that person's not a person anymore.
Wow.
Ooh, that fits in really well with Faiza's like backstory, which is the tyrant scares me because he ultimately forces me to acknowledge who I am, but doing so has dangerous consequences.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah. And the dangerous consequences are whatever happens to my husband, right? Like,
the tyrant scares me because he has no face.
That's
He's not
that's
a thing you can have a conversation with.
Yeah.
Just-
That's good. I almost want to do something, and again, maybe this is, I want to do something that's kind of juxtaposed with those, which could be because it's all based on like character interpretation, or it could just be like a really weird complexity. But I want it to be like the tyrant scares me because he is kind.
Yeah, right.
Like, I want there to be this experience that Sol has had of the tyrant as this kind of warm, like dulling, comfortableness.
Because you're still
and I don't know
person,
whether that's
right? So like
Yeah.
What did you say?
Awesome.
She said because Sol is still a person in the eyes of the tyrant, perhaps. But there's something about the way in which the tyrant's influence is kind that Sol has now seen as sinister.
Does Sol know that they probably like their situation is a lot better than a lot of other people around them, or are they not aware of that, or they don't see
like,
that?
Part of the dulling, right? Like
yeah,
right. I think that's part of the dulling. I think they see it now. I think they see it since this dream. That's part of what this dream has kind of done to their outlook. It was like they sort of gained this knowledge and now they can't unknow it. But before that, I think they had no idea. I think they had
That's awesome.
Who placed their trust, hope, and faith in you, and what do you feel like happened to them?
I mean, here's a fun thing. Haley, can the person who placed their trust and hope in me be someone on this journey with us?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, it's my daughter.
Awesome.
Like, she's saying like she's placing her trust in me to take her away from this place where like her dad's spirit like is haunting the house, and like the tyrant is gonna come and like take away her other dad, and I'm just scared that she's small and delicate and will be destroyed by the dark, right? Like,
No.
Yeah.
I'm scared that the dark will take her from me specifically, right? Like,
Oh, that's great.
I mean, I think for me the obvious answer is that like Sol has a family that that she's leaving behind. Like that's the obvious answer for who placed their trust, hope, and faith in what do you feel might happen to them. But that seems like too obvious.
What if we talk about like an extended like version of what a family is? Like, do you like maybe you like run an old folks home or something, right? Like.
Okay. Yeah.
Like chosen family is a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like someone you have a responsibility to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think Sol. All right. Okay. Yeah. I think Sol lived with her childhood friend. They've been friends since they were very small, and they decided when they became adults that they were going to live together and be like life partners. And I think this friend not given the sort of the shock of this dream that Sol had, is unable or unwilling to come out of this kind of lull, the influence of the tyrant. So I think there's this sort of really kind of terrible rift wherein their relationship still stands, but suddenly Sol is seeing something that this person can't see. What do I fear might happen to them? I think this person's name is Tovi. Or maybe. Okay, so I guess I have a kind of a question for Haley, which is, like, I'm sort of, with the answers to these questions, I'm sort of tempted to make them something that, like, to make them about things that the characters are taking with them, to see whether, like, to kind of have them be more likely to be like relevant later. I don't know if that's a good instinct or not. Like, I sort of feel like making it about people who stayed behind means that it may never come up again.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Look, it's completely up to you, because something that like you take with you could be directly relevant, but something that you left behind could motivate your character to act in a particular way. So it either way is good.
Okay.
Yeah, my character arc seems to be something like what Haley just said, like writing down Faiza's character sheet right now, and it's like the person they left behind is like a close friend who was almost a lover, and like the one person who believed in Faiza's identity before he himself did. But then this paradox where like this person who is much more secure in themselves is staying for whatever reason they're staying, and Faiz, who is having trouble coming to terms with himself, is leaving. And then the question about what do you hope to discover beyond the labyrinth, and the answer is there a place where I am not a danger? So, you know, they might not be like physically under harm from the tyrant, or like not in like the most direct way necessarily, but it's a bit like, well, I'm feeling very unsettled, and maybe I'm the dangerous one here. And what if I went? What if I am the Great Long Dark?
Wow.
I have a world building question. I want to throw this out to the group. What do we feel like the technology level is on this side of the Great Long Dark?
Well, we know we've got guns, but they're not very good.
Yeah, and we know we've got like kind of digital device type information keeping
I think that came from the grasslands.
But that's
the grasslands are like way ahead. I'm imagining like information wise, they're still very much a paper book sort of people.
Cool.
Or like they have devices. It's like the really, really version 1 beta sort of thing.
And I am thinking like sort of maybe a early like equivalent of an early 19th century today, where it's like all this technology is coming to pass somewhere, but if you're poor and you're living in the dirt, you haven't really seen it.
Oh, that actually brings me a question. When in time is this happening? Like, is this the 30 years ago?
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Okay, so that's why I was thinking like it'll be old, because 30 years ago we didn't really have Kindles.
So not even in the grasslands.
True. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with. I worked out sort of what the fear is. I've gone with Toby placed her trust and faith in me. I fear that she will not follow me. So I think when Sol leaves, they're convinced that she's going to work it out. She's going to work it out, and she's going to come after me. But they're kind of scared that won't happen.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm making myself sad.
So for me, it's that Yudroshi comes from a really big family, like a lot of people dependent on sort of a lot of people dependent on one or two people, and it's like the situation is just getting worse and worse every day, and it's becoming harder and harder to get the things that her family needs. So she feels like her family placed a lot of weight in her, and that she can never live up to it, and she's just worried that things will continue on their current trajectory, and there's nothing she can do about it.
I think for what charms, secrets, or power have your people given you to help brave the journey? I think it has to be like foretelling visions. I think that's a thing now since this dream. It's a thing that happens, but I think it's like I've written it as like I've been gifted with the curse of foretelling visions. Like I don't think it's a thing that the culture sees as good.
A lot of seers in this game.
Yeah. What do you have to discover in the labyrinth?
I've got
Files has a charm to not so much be rendered invisible, but like if he passes through somewhere, people don't really give a fuck that he's there. It's like, oh,
right,
that's a dude.
That's awesome. I like that.
But he makes him really anxious because, like, even if the spell works, he's still like, oh, they're going to figure out I'm here. They're going to figure out I'm here. They're going to figure out I'm here. Like, he doesn't trust this power, even when he wields it.
Totally. That makes sense.
I've got I've got that Holden has the charm, secrets, or power. Holden has the true name of a ghost of a great tyrant, long dead. One that came before this tyrant, and like has their true name and can like call them up.
Nice. Yudroshi has a charm that in the last moment when she was leaving, her mother sort of thrust into her hand and said, like, you can use this, like, don't feel bad about it. And it's a charm of forgetfulness. She understood what her mother meant when she gets to the good place, if it exists, that she can forget everything that came before.
Oh my god.
Why?
Oh, my heart. That's amazing. Oh.
it's kind of interesting the way stories like this get framed, whether in like RPGs or in real life, about, oh, they have to move because their homeland is being tortured by a terrible person. And this in Americana, there's a section which I thought was like the most perfect description of immigration I've ever read, where they're talking about like people who migrate not necessarily because they're trying to escape war or escape torture or escape climate change or whatever, but it's because they want to escape ennui. They just want a better life somewhere. And they've been told that this better life is somewhere else. And so they go chasing for it. But then they don't get as much respect from other people. Like, well, you're not really a refugee, so we don't need to get pitied.
Wow.
It's a bit like a lot of immigration.
This is definitely a story. Yeah, it's interesting because this is definitely like a story of like refugees, right? But like I like the idea of like just changing like the poetics layer. Like we could just like talk about the fact that like people have just heard that it's nicer where the tyrant isn't, right? I like the fact that like I really like the fact that like Emily's character is escaping a boring life.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm playing this like person who is quite privileged.
Our tyrant is not entirely bad to everyone, just control.
Or not bad in like the cartoonish way people think of being bad. Yeah. Like I could make a case for like Malaysia being ruled by maybe a tyrant. I'm gonna get arrested the moment I say this. But it's not like, Malaysia's at war at the moment, right? Exactly. It's a pretty developed. It's already reached the developed status. But people leave. It's got it's got smartphones before everyone else did. But the administration it's stifling, and if you're any level of different, it's stifling. But it's not as stifling in the way that you could reliably get a refugee visa.
Yeah,
external. You're not dying. You could just go and hide.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, you're rich enough. You could just like be normal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just pretend to be your birth gender. It's fine. You won't die from that.
Right?
Yeah. I've got. What do you hope to discover beyond the labyrinth? Quiet and silence. And I'm feeling like what I'm afraid of in the long dark is actually that that Max, my husband, will follow me.
I like that you're fearing your husband will follow you, and like I'm fearing that like my partner won't follow me.
Yeah, right. Like I mean, you're
afraid that the ghost haunts you, not the house.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out what I hope for beyond the. I think. Can I twist this question a little bit, because I kind of I think Soul believes that they won't make it out the other side. I feel like Soul believes that the thing they have to do will mean that their story ends in the labyrinth. Whether or not that's true, I think they don't have expectations about what will happen when they get beyond the labyrinth. Is that breaking the question?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
The hope is that you make it through.
Well, I think it's not even that. I think they're convinced they won't make it, so they haven't even considered what would be on the side.
Oh, yeah. Side.
So like I'm gonna put I don't believe. What's the exact wording? I don't believe I will make it beyond the labyrinth.
I think after we've done the character creation here, we'll take another break, and then we can continue on through the cards.
Cool.
So last one, your parents told you. Oh right. Oh, it's the same. Yeah, gotcha. I got it. I like that.
Oh, I missed the story. I missed the question. Okay.
Yeah, the last question was the same for both. Yeah.
What are you?
I specifically didn't do a spooky thing. Well, not a very spooky, only a slightly spooky thing. I was being good.
Yeah, okay. I think there's a place, or there's a thing within the Great Long Dark that I've been told about by my parents, that is a natural formation of these kind of like outcroppings of crystal that my parents called like singing crystals. And they warned me about them because they said that the crystals would sing to you, and they would put visions of beauty and comfort into your head, and would kind of basically like just drug you out, and you wouldn't want to go away from them or do anything or respond to anything. You just kind of get lost in the song of these crystals. So I think that's what Solfi is.
Awesome, that's so cool.
I basically stole the earlier story about the place with the parasitic half ghosts.
Yeah.
And like made a story about where people go through the motions.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And
like, God,
we know that happens to them as well. So at some point on that journey, Fizz had to face their fear. We don't know what the outcome of that was, but
yeah, but like in my character sheet, Faiz has heard the story and it goes, I don't know if it's paradise or if it's hell.
Wow.
Yep.
I think Yggdrasil is like most afraid of like quite conventional sort of like bedtime scare the children story type horrors. And I think particularly there's one where you think you're wading through a shallow cavern, but then the top of the cavern and the bottom of the cavern start to close in on each other, and you realize you're actually inside the mouth of a giant creature.
Oh, classic!
See its teeth. Yeah, exactly. You see its teeth. Sort of. I think it's sort of an exaggerated story, but that's the scary thing. The big horror that you just walk right into.
Also, I love Animagus has put an image of Ben Kingsley in the Prince of Persia film as the tyrant, and I kind of love it.
Ben Kingsley to be like faceless Ben Kingsley. He has Ben Kingsley's voice.
Yeah, faceless Ben Kingsley. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, the picture you put of
the ghost.
The husband is actually that's the bloke.
Oh my
god. Have we done all our questions?
Yeah, that's right. That.
Well, shall we take a break and then do cards? And then we'll be back in 5 minutes. All right. Back in a second.